Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today I am bringing to you those promised LiquidSheth replays spawning in the top left position as the blue Zerg, our hero of the day playing from Team Liquid. We have Sheth. Spawning in the bottom right position of Shakuras Plateau as the red Zerg playing from Team GoSuViBE, we have GLiTCHStarCraft. So, yesterday I casted a game of LiquidSheth that was a ZVT. So today I'm going to be casting a ZVZ as well as a ZVP. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at Sheth's styles in those matchups. Now, anytime you're watching a Zerg versus Zerg matchup, there's always one thing that's super important to keep in mind, and that is what's going on over here in the production tab, and more specifically, when each player is droning. That's almost the first thing I look at when I'm trying to look at Zerg versus Zerg replays and trying to determine what I can do to change my style or what can I do to improve my own play. I watch when, say for example, LiquidSheth makes drones versus making Zerglings or roaches or any other kinds of units. And in general, you always want to be droning as you push, as you're doing something aggressive. You're pushing out with some units, maybe you're just taking map control, taking the center of the map, droning up behind that, maybe even take expansions behind that, but a lot of times ZVZ is all about the small gains. Because you have a lot of this roach baneling, or this ling baneling stuff early on where it kind of pushes back and forth between the two opponents' bases, you need to look for opportunities to take drones. It's not like in versus Terran or versus Protoss, you'll have a lot of moments where you can kind of just go, all drones go, all Zerglings go. And you can just kind of do that, but in Zerg versus Zerg, if you just make one whole round of drones, sometimes if your opponent just makes a whole round of Zerglings and you made a round of drones, well, you just die and you just lose the game. So it's almost always about making just one or two drones while you make a small set of Zerglings, or just adding one drone into the mix every now and then. Now, we already have a couple of different styles going down from both of these players. Looks like GoSuViBE already throwing down his first hatchery before pool and gas. So his gas and pool is going to be much later than Sheth's. Notice Sheth is already mining gas, just now getting to 100, starting his ling speed here. So he is going to have the ling advantage. Will he be taking advantage of the fact that his lings are coming out faster? This is always kind of a difficult position to be in. I find he hasn't even scouted his opponent quite yet at all. He's going to be sending these lings first and foremost, and this is something that I like to do personally in my play. I get my first 4 lings out, I get my gas, I stop mining on my gas rather, I start to get my ling speed, and then I take my hatchery. And then I go to my opponent's base, and if my opponent expanded before I did, I then have to make that decision. So I have to decide whether I'm going to keep making lings and try to punish this expansion, but almost always that means you're going to be pretty much all in at this point. Looks like Sheth is just going to continue to drone behind this. No more drones coming out right now, but his ling speed is nearing completion, and looks like GoSuViBE is just now getting started. So it looks like his lings are not going to have speed here for quite a while, and I quite like what Sheth was doing here. Notice he had his Zerglings just sitting there attacking. He knew 4 Zerglings aren't really enough to do a whole lot of damage in the main to those drones, so he was just attacking the eggs, waiting for those lings to pop out, so that once those lings pop out, he could maybe even isolate a couple of them here alone. But no, it looks like not too much damage was going to be done here as GoSuViBE managed to get out enough units in time, and now Sheth is just going to be pulling on back home, most likely still droning behind this. Yes, we still have more and more drones coming up behind this. We will also see the same from GoSuViBE, but notice the number of lings that Sheth forced GoSuViBE to make. Now, when you go on the offensive in ZVZ, it kind of forces your opponent to have to overmake units because you just don't want to outright die. And because you're not the one being aggressive, you don't know if your opponent is droning right now. So you kind of have to overmake drones. So by Sheth being here and being the first one to be aggressive, he's forced GoSuViBE to make more lings than he really would have wanted to make, giving Sheth time to make lots and lots of drones back home, and then the moment the aggression ends, Sheth can then gauge, see by having these couple of lings out in the front of his base, he can now gauge whether he wants to continue to make drones or whether he might need to make lings by poking up here regularly. Now, he's about to see a lot of lings moving out here for GoSuViBE, because this is going to be the first time GoSuViBE is going to start to move out across the map, and now we're going to start to see lings coming down. We can see now that there are 10 lings on the way here for Sheth, because now he sees how many lings are on the way. It looks like this is about 9 lings here, so Sheth is actually going to be making just just the perfect number of lings to be able to defend this, and beautiful positioning here by Sheth, getting a couple of queens here on the ramp, and it looks like that one queen is indeed going to go down, but all those lings get cleaned up, and not too many drones were taken out, though Sheth did lose one queen, which is going to be a big loss in ZVZ. Losing a queen is a big deal, but notice Sheth made quite a few lings, got out of there with quite a few lings left over, so now he's going to be streaming them to his opponent's base, now forcing his opponent to make lots of lings. Now notice no, we do have a couple of banelings actually on the way here for LiquidSheth, and Sheth actually manages to get a surround around the queen, and now they are about even on queens, and now he's just going straight for drones. Looks like he's moving through that mineral line, and looks like he's going to be able to get maybe 1 or 2 drones in there. Yeah, it looks like he's killed about 2 drones so far. Now having to pull back home once again, but keep in mind he did make those 2 banelings back home, so he is well defended even against large numbers of zerglings now. So now GoSuViBE is going to have to sit back right now and just sit behind, and oh, these lings, oh man, that was probably worth it. Usually trading two lings for 1 baneling is about a break-even trade in terms of resources, so it's usually an okay trade to make, but he could have lost a lot more there if he wasn't careful. He could have lost both of those banelings there, but Sheth, with that good control, manages to pull 1 back in time before it detonates. Now, let's check out that harvester count, because it is so important right now. Going into this mid-game, we see that Sheth is up by so many harvesters right now, 48 harvesters to 37, because he's just been constantly being the one on the aggressive side. He's just constantly pushing. Look at this. He doesn't even have that much right now, but he's going to keep poking in here right now because he wants to force units out of his opponent. And the more units he forces out of his opponent, the more it gives him time to get up more and more lings, and oh, now all the drones having to be pulled. GoSuViBE now losing a lot of precious mining time, and now this one group of banelings coming around the back, trying to see if it can't get up into the main. Looks like it is going to be taken out by that spine crawler, and these lings are actually going to get up into the main, get a full run around in the base. See that no lair tech is down yet for GoSuViBE, sees the evolution chamber, sees it undulating there, showing that it is researching something, and now, ooh, did he actually see the roach warren that went down just as he left? No, he didn't actually see that roach warren, so he doesn't know about it. And back home, is he getting a roach warren himself? We do see a macro hatchery going up here for Sheth. Notice the evolution chamber is researching for him as well, researching that +1 melee, and holy cow, this is a super fast third here from Sheth, but once again, he can do this safely because he's got so many lings on the map right now, got that map control, forcing another cancel on that expansion, but that is a ton of banelings now coming down here from Sheth, and oh my goodness, Sheth needs to be really careful because now there are quite a few banelings, and it looks like GoSuViBE is going to get a little bit aggressive here and start to move across the map. Sheth does have a good number of banelings of his own, but will he be able to hold this? Because this is actually a lot of banelings. This is all going to come down to micro and baneling control right now. Sheth actually deciding to morph in a few more, keeping his banelings out in front. Needs to be very careful because he doesn't want to just lose a few of these. Notice how he split off 3. 3 banelings is what it takes to kill a baneling, and oh, I love what GoSuViBE did here. GoSuViBE separated all of his banelings into a line so that they can just come in one steady line. Oh, but that was a beautiful trade there by Sheth as he manages to get quite a few banelings there, but that second trade wasn't quite as good. But Sheth still does have a few lings, or banelings in the back now. He's going to be pushing right back forward. In the meantime, we do see more spines going up in Sheth's base just to be perfectly safe. He is ahead in the drone count, so that is perfectly okay, and it looks like he is once again going to be going on the offensive here. So this is one thing that can feel really icky to a lot of players. A player in GoSuViBE's position right now can just feel like, oh my god, he just does whatever he wants, and it's just like, I can't stop it. And that's because Sheth keeps going on the offensive. He just continues to go on the offensive, but he's always willing to pull back. Now keep in mind, if you attack and you lose your units, well, you're probably now behind because your opponent will have gotten more drones than you in that time. But because Sheth just goes in and then pulls back, unless he can do some good damage, then he is able to stay ahead by quite a bit. Now there are a good number of roaches coming across the map here for GoSuViBE, but these lings are +1 in upgrades. Banelings having and taking out quite a bit of lings. So many lings going down right now, but so many of Sheth's banelings are actually connecting with roaches, doing a good number of damage, but the roach count is still pretty high here for GoSuViBE, and he's still got a good number of banelings as well, and all Sheth has to really defend this is lings, and now all these forces are coming forward right now. A couple of spine crawlers here to defend, but a couple spine crawlers are not going to be enough for this number of roaches as they are continuing to focus down these banelings. Looks like they are going to be going down as well as that spine crawler. He's got more lings and banelings coming in on the way, as well as more roaches. He's going to be taking a third behind this, as well as this hatchery continues to get focused down. Looks like Sheth is going to be going for a counterattack. He says if all your units are here, then, well, Oh, he's actually suspecting an expansion here, so it looks like he's actually going to just be checking this third. But will Sheth lose this hatchery? I think he is most definitely going to lose that hatchery, as he doesn't have enough units here in time. And look at that beautiful surround coming in right now. These Lings do have a +1 attack upgrade, which actually makes them quite decent against roaches. A lot of times, Lings are generally considered to be not that good against roaches, but if you can get a good surround like Sheth just did, where every roach is singled out and surrounded by a group of 4 or 5 Lings, then it can actually Lings can actually do really, really well, especially when they have that +1 attack upgrade. It's all about just getting that right attack angle. Now, Sheth is just going to be immediately retaking that third, as he is now producing a ton of roaches. He's been fully saturated here for quite a while. In the harvester count, we can see that he is still way ahead. He's been mining so much right now. If we check out the units lost tab, we can see that both players have been trading pretty evenly right now, as the units lost are pretty much dead even, but it looks like GoSuViBE is coming in with another big attack. These spine crawlers do need to get burrowed into the ground, and beautiful connect there with that Baneling by GoSuViBE, as he manages to get quite a few Lings there, but some of these reinforcements do get surrounded by Lings, going to be taken out pretty quick. But now Sheth is reinforcing with tons and tons and tons of roaches, so I think he is going to be able to hold this, though this roach count is pretty high here. I don't like this attack angle here from GoSuViBE. Notice he's attacking on this angle. If he were attacking on this angle, he could kind of bounce back and forth between poking at Sheth's front, going back, hitting this hatchery, going back out, poking at the front, hitting the hatchery. But no, instead he's attacking from this side, where he's pretty much out in the open and leaving that hatchery there to go up. And now it looks like Sheth does have a good number of roaches, going to start to push towards his opponent. Now we do have a big upgrade advantage right now for GoSuViBE. He is 1-0 on his roach upgrades. +2 is going to be on the way. His third is getting well established here, just now starting to get some drones mining on it. Notice his saturation is just barely saturated in both bases, whereas Sheth has been oversaturated at both of his bases for a while, just now transferring a lot of workers down, and it looks like there's going to be a bit of a Ling run by here, as Sheth manages to pick off a few workers here, and oh, nice queen placement here by GoSuViBE as he gets it in there, and then he just holds position right there, and it looks like these Lings are now going to be able to be cleaned up by GoSuViBE. But GoSuViBE still behind in the worker count, 59 harvesters to 50. GoSuViBE really needs to fix that. In ZVZ, every single worker count, every single worker makes a difference. If you are ahead by 2 workers even for an extended period of time, your army will just start to grow by quite a bit. Now, there are a couple of things that are reflecting GoSuViBE's inability to get out a lot of units right now. First, he's getting upgrades. He's about to be 2-0 on all of his roaches, while Sheth is still 0-0, hasn't even started 1-1 yet. These roaches also have roach speed. Sheth's are still slow roaches, so Sheth actually has the huge food advantage, just because GoSuViBE's been going for all these upgrades and all this tech, but also because GoSuViBE has had a lower worker count this entire game. So Sheth now is going to mostly just be sitting back and be defensive, because if he attacks right now and he's not able to do a whole lot of damage to this, oh no, does Sheth know that all of these roaches are here and burrowed? I don't know if he does, but that is so many, and it looks like, do we have, no, we have Banelings being morphed in right now, but oh, looks like an Overseer arrives just in time, manages to see that all those roaches are burrowed there, and Sheth's going to start to get a few free hits there, so he's going to start to deal some damage, and this is something interesting from Sheth, realizing that his opponent has that +2 attack upgrade, needs something, turns all of his Lings into Banelings, trying to get that little bit of extra damage in. Notice that all these Banelings are coming in right now, trying to get some extra damage in for his roaches, and Sheth might actually be able to overtake this number of roaches despite being down in upgrades. He's continuing to push forward right now. Looks like he's going to be pushing into this third right now, and GoSuViBE is going to be forced to fight on the ramp. Needs to get Sheth really stuck in that tiny spot there. That's exactly the position he wants to be fighting in, but Sheth looks like he is very confident right now, pushing up the ramp, moving all of his roaches forward so that every single one of those roaches are firing, and they are each getting focused down quite quickly, and Sheth is just continuing to get more and more roaches and Lings all rallied into this base. GoSuViBE trying to rally as many as he can behind this, but will he be able to do it? I don't know. This is a lot of roaches here, and I think he's going to start to focus down the third here pretty soon. No, it looks like he's going to pull out here after taking out a whole lot of workers at this base. So far, 13 workers killed here for LiquidSheth, and it looks like he's going to start to push into the natural expansion here of GoSuViBE, and he does have the roach advantage despite being down in upgrades, pushing into that natural expansion, now fighting with that queen. Looks like Sheth now finally going to be forced to pull back. Notice finally he is getting upgrades behind this. Somewhere we do have a double evolution chamber that is now down, researching +1 attack as well as +1 carapace. And Sheth right now actually in a fantastic position. He's been mining on this third base here for so long. His mineral income is going to be so much higher than his opponents. And here comes one more engagement as now Sheth is just feeling really, really confident, just wants to continually engage, wants to force trades over and over and over again because he knows he's mining more than his opponent. Look at this. He's got this Overlord in position to scout this base so he can know if his opponent is going to try to take any further bases. And so he pretty much has a good idea that he is ahead in economy, so all he wants to do now is just continue to force trades. He doesn't want his opponent to tech towards infestors or anything else. I think there is an infestation pit up here for Vibe. Notice he is researching, just now starting that pathogen glands, but Vibe, he's teching right now. He's teching, which means that his army is really not going to be getting all that much bigger at all. He's just going to be sitting here at 115 food for quite a while, whereas Sheth is still mass producing lots and lots of roaches, starting to give him a huge food advantage, 154 food already, and he's continuing to get more and more roaches up. So he's pretty much going to have to hit a timing here before these infestors are out, because if these infestors get out, they could actually do quite a bit of damage. If some good fungal growths get off, they can actually do quite a bit of damage to these roaches, which will be +1/+1 by the time this engagement starts. It is going to be +1/+1 roaches versus +2/+0 roaches, and looks like Vibe is going to come out here and try to catch some of these banelings on siege, and Sheth chasing down all of these roaches as quickly as he can, doing as much damage, and Sheth now is going to need to pull back right as he gets to the ramp. Nice pullback there by Sheth. Now there is one Ling here. I love this Ling here from Vibe that's constantly moving back and forth between those two bases, checking for expansions. Oh no, but now all these roaches have been caught outside of the main, and here come the infestors. Fungal growth, beautiful fungal growth going down here for Vibe, catching so many roaches. That was like 16 roaches there in one fungal growth, but some of them are now being focused down here by Sheth, as so much damage is being dealt by both players. Sheth has the roach number advantage, but it looks like Vibe is actually going to come out ahead in this fight, and it looks like, in the meantime, looks like one counterattack there went and managed to take out that third, but now Vibe is on the offensive here as he's starting to move in, and Sheth is doing everything he can to macro up more and more roaches. That's all he needs to do at this point in time, is he just needs to survive. He can even let this base go down as long as he can win this fight and push back, because his opponent doesn't really have a whole lot to reinforce with. Oh my goodness, so many drones now being pulled off the line here for Sheth. Sheth not getting the best attack here as he's got so many roaches back here, not shooting, not hitting anything at all. Vibe is just continuing to stream in more roaches, but no, it looks like GoSuViBE realizing that he's not going to be able to take this expansion down, and that Sheth is just too far ahead with no mining going on at the main and almost being completely mined out at the natural, and so many workers lost. Wow, actually both players lost quite a few workers, but Sheth still had the base up and running, and so GoSuViBE deciding to throw in the towel, and Sheth takes this game. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen, because we are now going to be jumping into a game between Sheth and a mystery Protoss player. Don't know who it is? Stick around and find out.